Welcome to the Membership Business Growth Podcast, the #1 podcast for martial arts and fitness business owners. We'll dive deep with industry legends to bring you insider secrets on marketing, sales, retention strategies, and life's balancing act. Get expert tips for business growth right here, right now on the Membership Business Growth Podcast. Let's kickstart the action with your host, Ron Sell.
All right. I'm super excited about today's podcast. I have my business partner, Grandmaster Chung Park, as my guest, and I'm super excited to have him for a few reasons. Number one, GMP, as we call him, has been in this business for 30 some odd years. He started his schools when he was only 18 years old, and he's been in the martial arts since then. And over there, for the last 30 years, he's been uber successful in running schools, not just one school, but right now he has 10 schools. He just opened up another one recently out of the state of Florida. So most of his schools are down in South Florida, and he just opened one outside of Florida. So that puts him in a whole different ball game. The other thing is, he's someone that has it all. He has an amazing business, amazing 10 businesses, but not just that. He's got a great wife. He's got a great family life. He's in great shape. He works out every day. He's got an amazing daughter that he absolutely loves, and also loves him. Like he is what every martial arts school owner wants, right? They want the lifestyle. He drives and has driven for the last 30 years supercars. He owns them. They're in his garage. He's got the watches, and he's got everything. The boats. He's got $20 million in real estate. He's got several houses down in the Keys on the water. He's living the lifestyle that I think everybody wants. But at the same time, I get to see another side of GMP. And that's the side where I've seen people walk in. I've seen his competitors that have schools in his area walk into his school and say, I need help. And he sits down with them and he helps them. He has an abundance mindset. He has got a growth mindset. And I think when you listen to GMP talk today, you really want to take his mindset, his ideas to heart, because he thinks differently than most martial arts school owners that I've talked to. And because of that thinking differently, he's been able to create an empire in his life. And he's just a really awesome guy. I've spent so much time personal one-on-one with him and his family at his schools, on airplanes, at events. And I can tell you that the guy that's behind the scenes is quite different than some people think. This guy is a true giver, and he knows what he's talking about. So GMP, my friend, my brother, I appreciate you being, with me today, because I think we're going to talk about some things that's really going to help school owners elevate their businesses. And today it's all about growth. That's what this podcast is about. It's about growth. So we're going to talk about how you've created an empire, how you grew to 10 locations, and how you grew your schools to something amazing. So thanks for being here.
I'm honored to be here. And Master Roncel, my Dong Sang, my brother from another mother, lifelong partner. And someone I also call mentor. I've learned so much from you. I'm just honored to be here today to share with a very special industry, very passionate industry, an industry that's really made an impact worldwide. I mean, martial arts is just so unique and so special, and it has a very special place in the world. And every single one of us possess the power of one, because each and every single one of us united is making the impact that we are in the community, changing lives. I mean, that's probably the most ultimate responsibility and honor for a human being, to change lives. And that's what we're doing. And I want everybody to realize that. And because the fact that we're doing that, we deserve to be successful, not to suffer, which we still see a lot of that in our industry, because we're passion-driven industries, and a lot of passion-driven industries are on personal projects. And when personal projects get in the way, money is the last thing they think about. But we can give. We can give and also receive too. That is a perfect yin yang. And I'm a big believer of the yin yang. And I think having that complete yin yang balance in our lives, in our business lives, in our relationship is what makes life a great journey. And so I want, I'm here to really, share that with everyone. So I'm very honored to be here.
So let's talk about growth. Like how in the world does a school owner that maybe have, less than 100 students? I mean, because there was a point in your life where you had less than 100 students,
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the ways that school owners can grow.
Excellent. Let's talk about the most important thing, okay, which is the foundation of growth. Because without a core strong foundation, we cannot build a house on top of it. Okay.
Right.
We see many successful entrepreneurs, even in our industry, even some big organizations in our industry that have built, but their foundation was so poor, they've literally vanished overnight. Okay. And we see a lot of that in business world too. A lot of small business owners, a lot of corporations, they go to the top and then one day everything just falls apart and they crumble so fast. And that's really sad because it takes so much work to become successful. But the true work is maintaining success. And in order to maintain success, you got to have a strong foundation. So I want to take a couple minutes and talk about that foundation. And that foundation is, I'm sure, it's something we hear all the time. Mindset. But I want to really share with you, my mindset that have really helped me to be where I am today. We have to have an evolution mindset. Just like how humanity has evolved in the last century, it's just tremendous. And in order to stay evolved, the mindset you have to have is you have to be determined to self-evaluation. Self-evaluation is a core foundation of evolution, because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
Right.
And that is the challenge with a lot of business owners. They grow and they get stuck. And trying to find many different ways to grow, looking outward. Is it the marketing? I don't know. Is it my demographic? It's nature for humans to always find a reason within themselves to find why. There's a school down the street that has 200, 300, 400 students. But why have you been stuck in a double-digit students for a decade? You've been a school owner for 10 years, and you've been stuck at 50, 60, 80, 90s. Why? I mean, let's do the math, okay? So let's say on a worst day, you were signing up 3 students a month, and you've been in a school owner for 10 years. That's 120 months. 120 times 3, that comes out to 360 students. Let's give you a retention rate of, let's say half those students dropped out. That's still 180 students, okay? But you're stuck at the double digit. That means you've had like 75% of the students drop out. I mean, why is that? Is it the demographics? Is it the marketing? No, we have to be determined to 2 things in order to grow. And this has really helped me grow. And this is the mindset I still have that's helped me continue to level up. Number 1 is humility and humbleness. Okay, you have to be humble to self-evaluation and be a self-critic to understand that in order to evolve, you have to change. And only way you can change is through having humility to understand that you have a lot of improvement to do. We are in a service industry. We are not, selling a product where we can make this product better and better. Our product is our service, is our basically teaching. So when we are in the service industry, how you deliver the service makes all the difference. And I think this is the one area where a lot of school owners are very prideful in. And this is where kind of like the humility aspect needs to be leveled up more, which is your ability to deliver the service in a way that is going to impact your students. I mean, martial arts is majority, I would probably say, good 70% families. And I believe also from a business point of view, demographically, that is also where most of the income is generated through, families joining your school. So as a family joining your school, how do you have to teach? And I think that's an area, especially if you're a double-digit student body owner, that you got to do a real deep self-evaluation. Say, you know what? Maybe I need to really level up my teaching. Maybe I also need to make some tweaks in my product, which is your curriculum. Okay, and that's why, we are a traditional Taekwondo school. We do traditional Taekwondo, yin and yang. We mix it with modern flair, which Roland Osborne's Hyper has been a tremendous impact in that. Okay, because, when we're dealing with families and children, they want excitement. They want to be motivated. I mean, if you are teaching, I hate to say, especially us Taekwondo people, the traditional, hey, 차렷, 준비, 기반 자세, horse fighting sense. Ready, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯. I mean, those days are over. I mean, you have to teach with enthusiasm. I did a whole, content on this recently. So that's the foundation you have to develop. All right. As a school owner, you really got to be humble and have humility and to really self-evaluate yourself. Because some of the contents I'm about to share with you, it's a proven ways of making your school successful. These day and age, we live in an information era. Okay. I mean, we have information and content at the tip of our fingers. All we have to do is da 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 da, and everything is whop in front of us. I mean, we have Google and freaking YouTube. Oh my God, YouTube. You can find anything and everything how to do it on YouTube. And matter of fact, our industry now has leveled up where there's a lot of free content out there. I mean, if you go on our page that you and I created 7 years ago, which has almost 10,000 members on it, the martial arts business growth page, we've put up so much free content, and some of these content is what coaches usually charge money for. So it's available. So you have to have the mindset to learn and take action. Okay. And once you do that, everything I told you just up to now, you can grow your school and become profitable. You need to have over 100 students to make a good living comfortably and not have to struggle and worry about paying your rent. When you start getting to like 150, 200 students, that's when you start making really good money. And there's no reason why you can't do that. But you really have to make these changes I'm talking about. All right. So let's shift gears and go into I'm talking about growth.
Well, before we do that, I want to illustrate something. What you're talking about really is what's called a growth mindset. There's a fixed mindset. There's a growth mindset. And being humble is the first step to that growth mindset, that there's always room for improvement and I can improve myself, right? 30 years ago when I started business, I read all the top books like Think and Grow Rich and, 9 other books. And I recently, just a few months ago, I was like, I'm going to revisit those old books because it's 20 years later. My mindset has definitely changed. The way I look at things have changed in 20 years. And every single one of those top books, they all say, if you want to be successful, you have to have the right mindset. So I'm thinking, man, if we just change our mindset, if we just change our mind on things, I think that might be 80% of our success in life, the way we think about it. I was talking to a school owner recently, and I'm like, hey, what time are you getting into your school? And he goes, I get there at 3:30. And I'm like, when's your first class? He goes, 4 o'clock. I'm like, how long have you been doing that for? And he says, I've been doing that for like forever, like 5 years or more. I've been showing up at 3:30 when classes start at 4. And I'm like, I think I've figured out why, you're not as successful as you like to be, is because you can't have a full-time income working part-time, right? Like you're there 4 or 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week. Cause of course he took off Saturday and Sunday. So he's only working 20 hours a week. And I'm like, well, why haven't you gone in? Like, why? He goes, well, I didn't think you had to. I didn't think that was necessary. And it was just that one shift in mindset. He started showing up at 10 a.m. I asked him to show up at 10 a.m. this week. He's done that every week, every day this week. And because he's been there during the morning times, he's had 5 new appointments that he's scheduled because he was there. People walked in where he wouldn't have gotten that before. So I think a lot of success really has to do with, how we look at things and how we think about things. And if we can look internally using that humble, like you said, and we can grow.
Now, I firmly believe one school owner with just minimal help, especially with technology these days,
Right.
such as Spark, you can literally run a solid, I would say, triple digit, 100 students solid all day long, with minimal help. Okay, especially with the systems and as I said, technology that's available to school owners. They can do that. That's easily, doable. Okay. So going to the growth, first understand that as a, the components of our school, what makes up a, martial arts school. Okay. If you think about it, there's students. Okay. And then most importantly, and this was a very big transition for me. And I remember this, vividly and I talked to a lot of school owners, especially small school owners, about I can't afford a staff. I can't afford to pay anybody $500-600 a week. It's just not in the budget. Okay, so if you think like that, and then justification is look at the school numbers. It's just here's all my expenses. There's no room for a staff for me to bring on. Okay, you can't afford not to. A general cannot be a general without an army. Okay, in order to grow your school, you have to have staff. You have to have staff. Now, I said earlier, strategically, if you plan things according, especially your class schedule, very simple, allowing gaps between the class to do the trials during class and to enroll them, you can literally get to 100 students and start affording a staff. Okay? Because class schedule is very, very important. Class schedule is everything. If you're running back-to-back classes, that's going to be hard to grow your school because you're not allowing you time for enrollment and conferences. Okay, plus if you're a double-digit student, there's no reason for you to be teaching 15, 20 classes. It's a total waste. Strategically offer classes and then at least having 1 hour every day for your new student classes and orientations. Okay, so
Very important.
That simple technique alone will grow your school. Okay, you can do it by yourself. All right, you can literally do it by yourself. Okay, and maybe just get like a high school girl to answer your cell phone for info calls because we know how vital that is. Okay, so with that simple strategy, you can really grow up to 100 students real quick. Okay, and once you do that, you got to add on staff. staff is so important. Okay, now when you start expanding, in my opinion, when you start seeing yourself a lot more on the floor, okay, this is when you add help. There's two ways you can do this. Okay, if you have senior students, this is another thing I found interesting. A lot of double digit school owners, a good percentage of them are upper rank. That's been around. So if you guys think about it, if you're a double digit school owner, those students are a very dedicated small group of students, which is easy to recruit staff from, an instructor, which is ideally. I'd rather have an instructor than a good front end personnel who can also do enrollments and take in and take care of all the admin and all that. But I'd rather have an instructor, okay? And a lot of these double-digit school owners have a good handful of senior ranks, that's been around for a long time. So that's a good area to recruit, instructor from, freeing you up more time to do enrollments and take care of some admin, and then also upgrades, okay? Upgrades is another very important formula to grow your school. Upgrades will allow you to quickly develop big income that will allow you to leverage to grow your school. Now taking that money and putting it into marketing, investment. All right. So I'm kind of doing my ADHD thing right now, bouncing around everywhere. So we have to have a staff in order to grow your school, period. We have to have staff. And the second thing you have to have is, of course, marketing. And when it comes to marketing, geez, I think we could do this, together, Master Cell, because there's so many ways to, market your school. But
right
I mean,
what are some of the big things you've done over the last 30 years to market your school? Like, how did you get people interested in walking in?
In the last, I would say probably, last several decades, especially in the last decade, marketing has been an evolution too. I mean, it's evolved so much. I mean, right now we are in a digital technology era. Okay, so right now it's all about technological marketing, digital marketing. But if I was to take now and just start going back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, it's totally different. Okay, right before the digital era, before the pandemic, before we really discovered the power of World Wide Web, which pandemic forced us to go into that world, was we were doing tons of marketing through local schools. I mean, that was our bread and butter. I mean, we would do purpose-driven events at local schools, okay, generating income from our martial arts program and donating that back to the school, okay? Or
so you're talking about like local elementary, middle schools, private schools, things like that.
Yes, going there and doing this 4 to 8 week program, okay? And at the end, having a graduation ceremony. And that ceremony is also dedicated to raising money for Fight for Cancer, because I lost mom to cancer. So we would make this, I mean, we can get into whole details of it, but I'll just give you generality. We would do these big events at the end of the course. Okay. I mean, if we teach at elementary school between 600 to 800 kids, we would literally probably have about 10 to 15% show up. Okay. And we would schedule this on a Saturday, 4 different times, because we don't want to have 100 people show up at one time either. So we did it by, grades. And as they show up, put out a great presentation, what the kids learn, the student creed and the respect, and have them all break a board. And then at the end, thank the parents for coming and everything, and tell them, say, listen, one of our purposes to raise money for cancer. I lost mom to cancer. That's very, something close to my heart. I want to make a difference. If you donate $20 today, we will give you child a karate uniform and 4 weeks of lessons. Okay, so this way it's a purpose driven, but you can soft sell. Now we'll turn around and tell the kids, who wants to get a karate suit today and make a difference and help Grandmaster Park fight cancer?
Right.
The kids' hands will go up. You put on the music at that point. The staff will go around asking for donations. And as soon as somebody makes the first donation, turn the music up. Ron, come here. I put the uniform on Ron and tie the white belt, high five. Hey, Ron just helped Grandmaster Park fight against cancer. Give a big hand. And then if one kid puts on the uniform, what happens?
A bunch of other people want to.
Exactly. So that was a really powerful way for us to marketing. Okay.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that way too? It's the same way that I did school talks or parents' nights out. You know, you got to kind of nudge them down to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. And we never want to feel salesy. I mean, no one ever wants to feel like they're hardcore, you know, forcing people to enroll in martial arts. But, you know, doing something like this is super easy for everybody to get involved in. And you've had a couple hundred people every single time you did this, right? Come to the school. Like out of that, how many new students would enroll?
We sign up into anything from like 40 to 80 students in a single day.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's, you know, and you know what, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't inflate my numbers. I know the industry is infamous for saying, I have 500 students. When in reality, the school owner only has 150, 200 students, you know. So, you know, that was, you know, an average. And another form of, okay, let me go back a little bit. So I've shared this with some school owners, and someone was like, you know what, I can't, they won't even talk to me. The hardest part, I would tell you, about doing these outreach programs, we called it was piercing, the initial pierce. I mean, I will tell you, this is where your perseverance, okay, is tested. I cannot tell you how many times that I've gone. I'm talking, you have to be relentless. You can't just stop and say, well, I tried to go there, ask for the principal. Principal's never there. They're never around. But no, you know what? Listen, there are like 5 different ways to communicate with people. You can call them. You can leave a message. You can send them an email. You can handwrite a note, put the principal's name, put it in the front office. There's so many different ways. Where there's a will, there's a way. You just have to be persistent. Okay, good way is work with the PTA. Okay, work with the PTA. And the goal is that you want to help them raise funds, because every school wants what?
They want the funds.
Yeah, they want the money. Okay, that's why they have the PTA.
Right.
Some of them have business sponsorships. So do whatever you need to get your foot through the door. Here's the good news, okay? Because of the pandemic, this disappeared, literally. Now, pandemic is gone. This is back up. Matter of fact, now businesses and schools are more eager to have that, okay? So we recently started getting really back into this, all right? Because one of the things that I learned, you know, being a senior CEO of Spark, I'm privileged to see all the latest development that Ron Sell is putting together, especially our new Spark Premium 8i, okay? And AI has allowed us to leverage our marketing at a more higher level. So schools are now a lot more eager to have you guys in there, okay? So I lost my train of thought. So find different ways of leveraging, because you can get in, okay, there's several ways you can do this, the outreach, okay? Raise money, okay, or become a business partner, all right? Guest gym teacher. This is powerful. You know who's the laziest teacher in all school? Believe it or not, it's the PE teacher. And they love to have a guest PE teacher come and teach.
Man, I've taught PE at schools in my area. I bet you a couple hundred times. They just love us coming in.
Oh, I know I was going with this AI. So one of the things I really love about the Spark Premium AI we're about to release, Ron, is the business analyzing report card. Okay, where it generates like 15 to 18 pages. Because of that data, we were able to literally pinpoint. Okay, because I'll be honest with you. I mean, all my schools hover around between 250 to 350 students. Okay, I mean, January of 23, December 23, same thing. So obviously there's a hole. Okay, so this AI report that you created, I was able to pinpoint exact number of more students that we need to sign up to experience steady growth, not aggressive, just steady. And that number came out to four, four new students. So I took all my marketing and was able to, because of this report, pinpoint amount of exact students that we are getting every month. Okay, so in order to do 4 students, we have to add another source. Okay, and also we're really excited about the other AI feature that you created, which is the chatbot lead generator. Okay, which has one purpose for the AI, which is to set appointments, and we've been getting appointments from that too, which is powerful.
That's awesome.
So we added that resource, and then we're going back to outreach program. So between those two, we should able to sign up 4 more additional students, and that should leverage the steady growth we're looking for. And also, this business analysis report gave us exactly where our students are dropping out. Exactly. So now we're having discussions how we can that pinpoint do something about that. Okay, so that's the power of technology. So we're going back into the old form of marketing. Okay, and every single student next. Now we're going to switch gears. Digital marketing. You guys, listen, if you're not doing digital marketing, you're way behind the 8 ball. The good news is if you start doing it, you're going to get immediate results because this is a marketing you've never done. One of the greatest things about marketing is if you haven't done something, you do it, the results will be great in the beginning. And of course, as time, it kind of, my experience, it falters out. That's why you got to constantly stay in multiple levels of marketing, generating leads and generating, new students. So digital marketing, okay, best way for school owner, I'm sure every single one of you remember the yellow pages, right? Those thick yellow pages, right? That was before the internet. And that was when my, late father, Grandmaster Chung Park was around, my late father, he made sure every November that yellow page dollar size ad was renewed. And back then, especially depending on what city and demographics, we live in South Florida, which is heavily populated. So it was expensive. We're talking this is, 40 years ago, this 34. And that yellow page dollar, it was like $500, $600, $700 because I remember
every month.
Yeah, every month.
Every month.
Every month, exactly. So let's say that yellow pages still existed today and internet never happened. How much do you think the same ad will be 3-4 decades later?
Yeah.
I would say at least double, triple.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Probably be at least $1,200 to $1,500, right? Now, that yellow pages does not exist today. Of course, a physical, but it got sucked into the World Wide Web and the internet. So the internet has become the modern day yellow pages. So if the yellow pages still exist today, every single business school owner, because I learned from my father, I will be spending $1,500, $2,000 making sure that dollar page ad is still there. Okay, so if a school owner is not spending at least that much, because the modern day yellow pages it's gone digital. Okay, unfortunately, it's gone technological, so it requires understanding algorithm and stuff. So it's become a little scientific, which makes it difficult for us school owners to do it ourselves. Okay, it's very difficult because the codes and algorithm constantly changing. That's why we use Logan of Mama, martial arts marketing agency. He's been doing our digital marketing since the pandemic. And I mean, our headquarters school, we get 70 to 100 leads every month consistently. And I'll be honest with you, we kind of got spoiled and, didn't do other marketing for a long time. But, within the last several months, we're really ramping it up. Another third area before the digital marketing, we did a lot of community events.
Yes.
Every opportunity we had where there's a traffic walk in front of us, we would go. Festivals, carnivals, these schools would have these special events, whatever it is. Okay,
Easter egg hunts.
Yeah, anything.
Fall festivals.
And it's simple
booth,
too.
We booth at the mall.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you go into the community calendar, you'll be just or become part of Facebook groups. So you can literally do every single weekend event. Literally, there's no reason why you can literally. Okay, and this is about consistency. If you do this consistently over a long period of time, that's where it makes the impact. You can't say, "Oh, I've done several of them and they didn't really get me anything." That's wrong mindset. So go back doing this, and same thing. I would take a box of uniforms, okay, and then take the Spark iPad, okay, and we would set it up where it's attractive for kids to come, get balloons, spin wheels and stuff, and then just start a conversation with the parents. Hey, you live in the area? You want to pre-qualify them? So ever think about start them in martial arts? It's great for confidence and focus because there's two types of kids I always talked about. What? Crazy and shy. So, and they say, yeah, we thought about it. You know what we're doing? If you donate $20 to Fight for Cancer, we're raising proceeds. Okay, we'll give you karate uniform today and 4 weeks of lessons. How does that sound? Before we do this, of course, we got the kids all excited. And then you buy those from Century or one of your wholesalers, rebreakable boards. Okay, get the one that just snaps easy and have them put on a little MMA glove so they don't break anything and you get sued. And then have them break it and the kid gets excited. When kids get excited, who also gets excited? Parents, right?
Mom and dad.
And then you can engage that conversation and then ask them for a donation for Fight for Cancer and then book an appointment. We done so many of this, and we would literally get 30 to 50 appointments in a weekend.
In a weekend, okay? Yep.
Yeah, and that's another powerful source, okay? So because of the AI report, we're able to pinpoint, so we're going to start doing those. Those are just some of the grassroots, because marketing, either you pay a lot of money to get leads, or you have to work your ass off, guerrilla. You got to hit the pavement. Another way of marketing, well, I don't have the budget. Well, you know what? If you don't have the budget, you should have the time.
Right.
Okay, get in your uniform, okay, and take a little pad. Don't take a pen and paper because when people see that, they know you try to sell them something. Okay, just take a little pen and put it on your belt. I can't see it with a little, and if they make an eye contact with you, go up to them. I would, you know what? I remember going in my uniform at the end of the night to the grocery store to get dinner, and people come to me, oh, where do you teach? That was a common thing. Oh, I'm Grandmaster Park Taekwondo. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting my child started. I've gotten leads like that.
Yeah.
I know wearing uniform in the public is kind of like oh, geez, like, especially if you're an old school traditionalist, you wear your uniform outside, you kind of feel like you're Halloween. You know what I mean? But let me tell you something. That is a very powerful marketing tool.
100%.
Wear your uniform out, and you'll be surprised. People look at you. People come up to you. Okay, so go VIPing. You remember what VIPing was?
Oh yeah, I'm a firm believer in it because we've enrolled thousands of students VIPing, just walking up to strangers and asking them, first of all, building a rapport with them. You can't just go right into your pitch, but building a great rapport with them. We did it here in Tampa. Remember, we were at Starbucks one day, me and you, and some lady comes in with her kids. And you got her before I did. And he says, hey, how old is your son there? And she says something like 7 or something like that. And you're like, hey, martial arts is great for 7 years old. It really helps them with their focus, burns energy. They have a lot of fun. And then you said, have you ever considered putting him in martial arts? And she goes, yeah. And we took down the lead. I think we gave it to, I didn't have a school at the time. I think we gave it to Manny Cabrera or something like that. But I mean, it's as easy as that. but if you're not in uniform, it's a little more difficult because you kind of come off as, like, who's this guy, approaching me in the grocery store
Yeah,
type thing.
exactly. Right. So you got to have
Yeah.
the uniform on. So VIPing is a great. So I think the biggest takeaway for school owners watching this segment is it doesn't matter what you're at, 50, 60, couple hundred. D's marketing technique is designed to work for school with zero budget, school with a lot of budget,
Right.
marketing budget. Okay. So these growth tips I just gave you are powerful enough and no excuse based tips to go and get leads for your school. Okay. All right. So that's very, very important. All right. So doing this with the proper class schedule, okay, will leverage you to grow your school where you can afford a staff and then digital marketing. I know if you call Logan, yeah, you're going to spend minimum payment at least just for the services, $500, $600, and then you're going to have to spend another $500 to $1,000 in ad costs. Yes, you look at a minimum like $1,200. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? The ROI is undeniable. Why? Because it's scientific. It's technological. And let me explain to you why. In the world of digital marketing, okay, and if you watch Shark Tank, you know what's one of the most common things sharks say to the pitchers? What is your customer acquisition cost? That is the most common question. When a shark is interested in that business, start engaging with with the person in the tank. That's one of the main questions they'll ask them. What's your customer acquisition cost? Because that is a general rule for digital marketing. Okay. So if I was to say to you, Mr. School Owner, give me $200 in return, I'll give you a new member. What are you going to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So if I want 2 students, and I would say, if I give you 2,000, will you give me 10 students? Yes. Okay, here's 2,000. Give me 10 students because you know the value of those 10 students. Okay, referrals, equipment, retail sales, testing fees, upgrades, family add-ons. It's compounding. Okay, that's how powerful a single member is. So in the digital world, there is something called a customer acquisition cost. And when you start spending money on ad costs, that acquisition cost will be generated and the number will come up. And it varies. Like, for example, around the holiday times, we get minimal results. Why? We're competing with freaking these big giant corporations that's doing this big Black Friday and holiday drive. So, our customer acquisition cost skyrockets because they're spending more money to get attention. Because in the digital marketing, it's all about attention. Here's the good news. We're not like in attorney or real estate where there's high acquisition costs. That means you have to spend more money to get attention, to acquire a lead. We're martial arts, okay? So it's affordable. So even if you have to freaking put it on your credit card, do it. Do it. Take the money out of the savings and do it because you will get new students. Because, when I hear school owners say, no, I've done that. I used him for several months and it didn't really work. No, it did work. You just don't know. You didn't know your customer acquisition cost. Okay. You just didn't know. Okay. I mean, very rarely will it flat out not work. So that's the science of digital marketing in that sense. So more source of lead generation you have, the better you can grow your school. Okay. And that is the only way you're going to able to add the budget to continue to add staff because more students, you need more staff, period. You need more staff. Okay. Because you can't have a school with 300 students with 1 or 2 teachers. Okay. Maybe 2 staying on full time, but going to burn them out. You got to be careful about that too. Okay. So So I mean, to put it, that's a pretty simple formula for growth. I mean, there's a lot of details that we could go into, the science of upgrading, science of doing an introductory class, the science of doing an enrollment, science of, tuition layout, upgrade tuition layout. I mean, this is something that we all going to be offering near future in our coaching program, to Spark Nation World, maybe to everyone else, we'll see. Okay. So, but I'm really excited about that. And the most important thing, remember, I'm sure you guys all hear, there's two ways to always operate a business. Either you're working in your business or you're working on your business. And as a school owner, you have to able to juggle that harmoniously like a yin yang. Because if you're too busy working in your school and not on your school, then your school's going to be stagnant. And you know what happened after a while certain things stay stagnant? They start to go downhill. Okay? That's so you got to keep that in mind. All right? And lastly, it's not how much money your school makes. It's your ability to take home the amount, and with that part of that amount, investing it. And it's very important. Listen, even if it's only like several $100s a month, 300, 400, 500 a month, start an investment fund. Start an investment fund that will have compounding interest, and something that you're dedicated to doing for next 10, 15 years. It'll make a huge impact. Get cash value life insurance, or invest it into a very conservative fund that will grow throughout the years. All right. So this is something I encourage everyone to do, and work towards also being a homeowner. That is so important. Owning real estate. Okay, and that is one of the powerful ways to grow. And I listen. I'll be honest with you. Okay, martial arts schools, unless you have like gazillion million locations, you're not going to make millions of dollars in cash. We're just not in that type of industry unless you start acquiring the knowledge, the science of multiple school owner. Then you can start making that, 7 figures, $7 million, right? 6 figures? No, 7 figures.
Yeah, 7 figures.
7 figures. Okay. Yes. But I will tell you this. Okay. You don't have to make 7 figures in the martial art industry to become a multimillionaire. Okay. I cannot tell you, especially in Taekwondo, especially some of these old Korean grandmasters, the amount of wealth they develop from being a school owner. School owner is a great stepping stone to becoming a multimillionaire. Okay, because in the world of real estate, you only need for real estate is $500,000. You only need 10%. You only need 10%, maybe some of even smaller, 5%, to purchase that $500,000 property. Okay, so yeah, and my personal experience, owning real estate, I've made millions of dollars. Okay, my last transaction, I made over $1 million within 24 months, and from a single property and selling it. I mean, where are you going to make that kind of money just doing nothing? So real estate is a proven industry that have made people millions and millions of dollars, and being in the martial arts industry will allow you to acquire that. Okay, because listen, in my opinion, effortlessly, as a school owner, you can easily make $100,000 to $150,000 minimum, in my opinion.
Right on. This is good. A lot of good things here. If you want to focus on growth, everybody, my recommendations is try to put 2 to 3 appointments in your appointment book every single day that you're open. I think that's super powerful. Yesterday, Hyung, I looked into your Spark account at just one of your locations, and I saw some days you had 11 appointments, some days you had 5. I never saw a day that didn't have any appointments, and I didn't see anything that didn't have less than 3 appointments in one day. So 3 appointments at least every day. Some of them were 10 and 11 appointments. I mean, that really is a secret to, growth. Is you have to use that appointment book. You have to fill that appointment book. I have a book, a marketing manual that I wrote that has a
Yes.
list of like 1,000
Really
different
good.
marketing ideas
So
for the
awesome.
martial arts industry.
And
If
we're
anybody
giving
is
you
interested
free.
in having a free copy of that, reach out to me and I'll be happy to send you a copy of that PDF. But out of the 300 or whatever marketing ideas I have, you just got to pick 5. Pick 5 ideas that turns you on, that gets you excited. That's for your personality, and then from those 5, you'll get those appointments 2 to 3 a day, and you really be pretty successful in this business. And like you said, Grandmaster Park, I mean, making 100,000 or 150,000 a year is not that difficult if you follow a plan like that for growth for
Hey,
martial arts
listen,
school owners.
it's really easy. I mean, you know, listen, there are a lot of personality things I had to overcome. Okay. And, one of the things is I wasn't comfortable going up to people just talking to them, the embarrassment or taking flyers and handing it to people, what I mean? Going up, you know what I mean? It's like and I get that. I get that, feeling of a little bit of being intimidated or timid or not being comfortable.
I can't imagine you ever being timid looking at you now. Like,
And you know what? I had to develop these traits. And listen,
right. You had to build those
you
skills,
gotta
those
do it.
mindsets.
If you sit there and if you sit there and have any uncomfortability of getting in your uniform, going up to people and talking about the benefit of martial arts, that's more of a reason that you need to do it.
Right.
You need to get out of that uncomfortable zone and make that a comfort zone. Because if you don't have this kind of a mindset and the willpower and to take that kind of action, you're always going to be stuck in the double-digit student.
Yeah, they always say get comfortable being uncomfortable. And so I was the same way. At first, of course, I felt like a rock star when I was teaching classes, but outside of teaching classes, I felt so shy and intimidated by talking to people. And that's just a skill that I was fed up with it. I'm like, I have to get over this. And so the best way to get over it is just to keep doing it until it's easy.
I'll give one more marketing tip. What's another powerful marketing tip? We generated a lot of leads instantly was demos.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, when I say demo, I'm not talking about you got to have this awesome demo team like Chip Townsend. You break a bat and have these kids looking like, no, you don't have to do that. You know what? Matter of fact, the best type of demonstrations are what I call relatable demos, where you have a little child come up. Attention, like you teach them intro. Okay, Johnny, attention. Focus, sir. What's up, student degree? Courtesy, modesty, sir. Guardian says, yeah. Break a board, boom. You have a little kid, the whole crowd go crazy. And then you talk about the benefits, okay? And you get them all to them and say, listen, right now, we're going to give away drawing. We're gonna pick 5 lucky winners right now for them to receive a karate suit and 4 weeks of lessons. So I'm going to have my instructors come around and collect name and phone numbers. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, while we're collecting names, Johnny, come up here and let's do I want you to break a board with your face. I mean fist. Okay. All right. And then you collect name and lease, give 5 away, and everybody else say, hey, if you didn't, get the uniform today, I'm going to still give you 2 weeks of lessons. Okay. So those are a great way to instantly get like 20, 30 leads.
Yeah, 100%.
You always have, several people, especially at festivals. So if you're doing a booth, do a demo. That's a double whammy. Okay. So when
100%.
when you do demo, that's kind of like having a live infomercial.
100%. I once, my mom, I've done so many demos all over the world. And once my mom asked me just a few years ago, she says, hey, will you come and do a demo with us? And at the end, will you ask people to enroll because she heard I was pretty good at getting large crowds to enroll. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And we did 89 appointments that night. We signed up 89 people in appointments from one demo on a stage at a church. And it was pretty powerful. Out of those 89, I think around 70 or so actually showed up, and we enrolled 80% of those. So she started a school now in that church because we had so many people from one spot, from that one demo. It's pretty awesome.
Great. So listen, so we give you a lot of growth tips here, whether you're a small school or a big school. So with these tools and tips that we've gone over in the last almost hour, there's no reason for you not to grow. And only reason that you're not going to grow is all going to because of you. Your inability to have the right mindset, and inability to have that humility and humbleness, and inability to take action. Oh, I can't do that. Going up to people talking. And you know what? That's exactly the reason why you only have, double-digit students. That exact attitude and the mindset. Unless that is willing to change, you're never going to grow. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are in that category, you're doing an injustice to us. Okay? You can take it as an insult. I don't care. You're doing an injustice because you have the potential to impact so much more lives. And because of your unwillingness and not open-mindedness and your insecurity, you're not willing to take the proper action to make a higher level of impact. You're doing an injustice to your community.
That's so powerful and so true.
Listen, you're a martial arts instructor. You wear that black belt. You go into your little world of your school and you're like this. Why don't you do that flex outside? Why don't you take it outside in the world and show them how that flex becomes a flex, and tell them your story. Share your why. Why are you a school owner? And I think a lot of small school owners forgotten that. If you go back to the roots and think about why and what inspired you so powerfully that you've decided to become a school owner. Okay, think about that motivation. Go back and dig that out and use that motivation to make the necessary change to grow your school. I mean, aren't you sick and tired of having 50, 60, 80, 90 students for 10, 15 years that you've had at school? Come on. It's time to do something about it. There's no reason why.
Well, with that, we'll conclude. Thank you so much, GMP, for sharing your insights. And I look forward to hearing from everybody that was watching this and taking some notes. Let us know what you got out of it. Let us know what you've implemented. I think that's the number one cause of failure is failure to implement, right? Learning something and doing nothing with it. So I want to hear how you've implemented some of these ideas in your own school and what results that you got, whether it's great results or maybe you need a little bit more work, and maybe we can give you a little more insight so that you can get better results in the future. GMP, thank you so much.
Comment in the bottom your biggest takeaway, everyone. Okay? I want you to do that. When you write that down, it will do something to you. It will solidify something to you. So comment below what your biggest takeaway was. That may be the initial spark that you need to take action. So comment below your biggest takeaway. Appreciate you all. Make it a great day. Bye.
You too, Grandmaster Park.
Thanks for joining us on the Membership Business Growth Podcast. We hope you take what you learned and use it to propel your business to new heights. For more information, episodes, show notes, and to get social, hit us at membershipbusinessgrowth.com. Membershipbusinessgrowth.com. If you want to go deeper or send us comments, you can email ron@sparkmembership.com. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Membership Business Growth Podcast with Ron Sell. Thanks again for listening.